Hello, welcome back to Bear Cottage. We're missing you at the moment, so we're actually going to take you out into the garden, to the music garden. So come down and we're going to go for a scavenger nature hunt.
So at the moment we're all still in isolation and it's all very hard, but it's nice to get a bit of nature. So if you can't come at the moment, we're bringing the garden to you. So you remember we've had a windy day, so the leaves have all blown down, which is good because we're going to be picking up some leaves. So when you're going on a scavenger hunt, maybe you can have a theme. You could pick lots of coloured things like green things. We're going to pick up some leaves and we're going to do some art back at the table. So we could pick up some pine cones because they are great instead of brushes. You can use them for mark making. We can also put some googly eyes on them. Going to try and see what makes a good reef rubbing and what doesn't. So I've just picked a little bit of that. I've actually came down before and did a little bit more. Sticks are good. We've got the beautiful drums here. And I'm sure you've all played on the xylophone when you've come out. I'm not very good on the xylophone, but it's a beautiful sunny day in Bear Cottage. So, might just hug this tree. Why not? We're out in nature and trees like a bit of a hug, they tell me. Take your shoes and socks off if you can. Just get to feel the ground. It's just nice to get out if you can. What else should we collect? Might collect some rocks. Those rocks are good. We could paint some rocks. And also just looking at things differently. I'm going to look for a little leaf that's been chewed. What's chewed that? What little insect is that? We've got this lovely little area here where we can sit in the shade when you next come back to Bear Cottage. We've got beautiful plants that actually are so resilient. Look, there's no soil whatsoever and he's just, I think it's a weed, but hey, look how strong he is, just growing out of a rock. And that one too. There's no soil there at all. I think I might go down here too, because I think there's a fern and that's actually quite nice to do a rubbing with. We'll say hello to the pink cow. Everybody remembers the pink cow, I'm sure. So I quite like this fern. So I'm going to just pick a little bit. Don't want to pick a big bit. So I'm going to pick a live one. So we might walk back up to the art table and do some art with some of our bits and pieces. Back to the art table, which you all love, which I do too. So we're just going to do a few little things with our little treasure trove of things here. I'm going to get out some of my rocks because rocks are nice things. You could maybe paint them with some house paint if you want, or you can actually just do it straight on the rocks. These are just a couple I found in the garden, but here's my famous phrase. Here's some I prepared earlier, and I stole some red paint from Brendan. So I've got all these really yummy rocks, and that's actually quite nice. And I was thinking you could actually choose a rock for every member of your family, and you can go wherever you want. Daddy could be the big rock, or you could be the big rock. And then actually maybe write some words. I did one earlier. Which one did I do it on? For all our lovely children. This is from one of our little children that is in at the moment. Or you could actually, with the first letter of your first name, so mine's Judy, obviously, you could then be what could you be? Jolly or joyful, or I don't know any other J's, but you could have a name like that. You could do that for all your family. So, or you could put some googly eyes on and a silly little Spanish moustache. So actually these are going to be out in the herb garden. So when you next come to Bear Cottage, you can come and look for this little Spanish man, the little red rock, and his little son. I couldn't help myself. Now I also, while I had my googly eyes out, one of those pine cones, I actually started making a little man out of that. So although still not quite dry, but with pipe cleaners. Anyway, there's lots of YouTube stuff on that. It's not really about that. It's about bringing the garden to you and a little bit of the garden here, but stuff that you could do afterwards. And if you don't have a garden and you're stuck in an apartment and you can't go out, even just walking from one window and looking at maybe the clouds or the trees blowing in the breeze and then going to another window, so you're still getting a little bit of nature. So what did I get? I got, oh, there's my lavender. So I'm going to have a nice little smelling spot. Now, Banksia men, I actually happen to know, make really nice leaf rubbing. So this is just butcher's paper, but you can use whatever paper. But just getting all the nice veins, and that's sort of, you could make some patterns. That's sort of quite fun to do. Different colours. There's no right or wrong with this. You could start building up. You could actually, oh, I'm covering it with my hands, sorry. Now, we have some fresh leaves and some dried leaves. And they actually, I discovered that the fresh like that is beautiful, but it actually, in the leaf rubbing department, is not quite so good. It just doesn't really work as well. Whereas the dried leaf makes a much better pattern, black. And you can see, so you can just, it just gives a more appreciation of all those little veins, and you know, anyway, it's just another way to use a little bit of nature and give you a little bit of the Bear Cottage garden coming to the messy art play area. Anyway, thank you, see you another time.